Alright, so this is a new series that I'm starting, where I make synth samples with hardware, but also some software. I've just got the sequential Prophet Rev 2, the Poly-D and the Mini Freak. I'm gonna take you guys through the whole process. We are gonna make different vibes on these episodes. The first sample today, we're gonna make an epic synth sample. The next one's gonna be like a chill, relaxed type of vibe. Drake samples, Kanye samples. But today we're gonna make like a Mike Dean, Travis Scott, epic synth sample with an intro. And yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so as you see, got a synth warmer on these two channels, connected to these two synths. So the Prophet got different layers of sounds. You can see right here, you can split them, edit layer B, or stack them. And the first thing was this B sound. And I'm just gonna hold it so you can see. This is the cutoff, automated to this. This is the amount and this is the frequency, the speed. And the destination, put it on cutoff. So this was layer B and layer A. It's just a space. It's on unison, that's why it sounds so wide. And now we're gonna stack them. And if we hold this bass and go up 2 octaves, it's gonna sound like this with the glide mode on and the amount set to something quite high. So this is the bass, and for the up we're gonna go to the Poly-D, and this is the up we got. So the first thing we did is put it on poly mode, so it's only one oscillator playing, as you can see. And this synth got 4 oscillators, this one got 2, but this one is way more complex for automations, modulations. It got cool, it got 4 LFOs, that's why it's so unique. And this one is the pure sound. This is a cutoff. Attack, decay. And this is the speed, you know. This is the chorus and distortion. And this is, and I just recorded like a pattern. Just go up the C major, C minor. And then it's done. Can also make something more unique, like going back. So these are the sounds we're going to be using today. The bass, which also can function as a lead. If I just go to layer B, or stack, or even stack them, put a cutoff a bit lower. These are the effects. I'm gonna put this like on like a phaser. 15. And we're gonna stack them. This is the delay effect. So this is no C minor, I'm gonna put it on E minor. Alright, so these are the patterns that we just recorded. Alright, to make it more interesting now, we need some automations on the ARP. I love to use Shaperbox recently for these automations. So let's take distortion, some stereo separation, 20%, and let's make a bit like a high shelf, and let's get rid of the load. And the filter comes in like every 2 bars. Something like this, with the resonance as well. Alright, just a bit correction right here. And this is just the intro part with this bass solo, and then the normal pattern begins. With just a D all the time. This is D minor right now. And then like a pause right here. And then bring in the bass again. So this is the intro, and this is like where the loop begins, you know. And then like a tiny bit of reverb. You have to be really careful with the reverb on these analog sounds, because you can shape the reverb differently and it just sounds completely different. That's why we're gonna put like a high cut, low cut, a little bit less size and attack, like this. So let's just check the key. I like to use mixed in key. D minor and D minor. Let's put a craft on the master, bit drive, and high distortion. I talked about this in depth inside my mixing secrets video, but basically what this does is like a drive distortion, and that's like the main thing. This is the different frequencies. So it's a multi-band distortion made for mastering. So what I also like to do is these reverse patterns, where we're gonna take this, reverse and pitch down, but only for certain parts, let's say at the end. Let's put on some EQ and then distortion. Synth again, and then some delay. I really like to use timeless free for delay, because it just has everything you need. Here's the time, feedback, and it's pretty good visualized, you know. You even got an EQ, which is really important. We don't want the delay to be applied on the low end. Some ducking, so whenever the main pattern plays, the delay is being pushed down. In terms of the volume and the drive knob up, a bit of the dynamics and feedback. 1.4, and here's the ping pong delay. I think you're gonna render this out. Maybe pitch down again. Good job again. So this is good for the build-up right here. And like a peek into the main melody. So when you got the bass, arp, synth, you need a main melody. It could be a trap element where it's something repetitive like this, which also comes in on the drop. If you want to make this actually for the artist where he should hop on, you need the drum part where it's less going on, like this repetitive melody with the drums. Or you can take a lead and make a lead solo out of it and make something like a Mike Dean type of sample, but we're gonna make this on another video. Alright, now for the synths. I actually want to go to the hardware, but it would be a bit boring, you know. I also want this video to be for more people that don't have hardware. So let's go into Analog Lab and let's go into the Fantasia bank and let's choose a lead. This e-guitar is from a Mini Freak and it's also really analog sounding. So let's take this, put on a bit of EQ to get rid of some lows. But first we need some soothe on that. Let's make this shorter, like this. We need a compressor so that roll is hearable. And let's reverse it. Like this. And to make it a call and response type of bounce between the lead and the arp, we're gonna fade it out and fade it in with shaper box, like this. But not on this last bit. We're gonna take this roll and put it right here from the bass. Actually, try to reverse it. Make something interesting here, like this. Also as well here. let's go into these phrases from Fantasia into the Nova kit. This is for this futuristic type of vibes. Mike Dean. Let's take some interesting effects. Let's put some reverb on it. And distortion, but for this we're gonna take a wave shaper. Some panning. And then we're gonna do like a shorts filter on the master to introduce it into the new pattern, like this, with the resonance automation. Like a volume type of thing, like this. And right here could be like the beat drop for like trap drums and these kind of bounces. A lot of crystalline reverb, Dakar reverb, sparkle up. I think this could be reversed pretty good. Notice the beat drop. I'm gonna take this atmosphere. Maybe some drop accents. Alright, for this next sample, this is really my favorite, but I can't talk much about it because these are all the sounds from the hardware. But the processing is so important. This is the synth layer, reverse layer. This is the bass. Lead, call and response right here. This is just some breathing. You can hear it later on for the rhythms. And this is a lead solo that I recorded for the intro. And these are just effects. And this is like a short breakdown. I won't go over everything, but this is how it sounds. And again, I really like this sample. One of my favorites. I believe I first started with the synth and I wanted to make it really wide. This is how it sounds with no effects. So just like a octave on the low end and the C minor on the right hand. The thing about my type of sound right now is that I almost have distortion on every sound, like synth warmer and wave shaper, distortion, tube culture. And for the synth, just reverb, shaper box, and EQ. I wanted to shape the sides. I had like this sound in my head and I really wanted to shape the sides on this one. The sides is just a stereo field which make things wider or more mono. What I talked about is in my mixing secrets video. It should pop up one in the corners. And some EQ to give the bass more space. Heading over to the bass right now, and I really like heavy distorted basses. With no effects. So it's almost the same with more chorus and a bit more distortion and reverb, but only in the high end, alright? I got a low cut right here. Then the wave shaper for distortion, synth warmer for distortion, more chorus. Then this is just a volume thing. And again, the side shaping and bass line to make the low end on 50 Hz mono. It's mono on the low end. for this lead, I love leads that are sounding a bit like trumpets, but still has that synth touch to it. This is how it sounds with no effects. Right here, I made the cutoff like lower on the Rev 2 and then made it come back in again. And this one right here. And this one right here is a LFO automation on the cutoff. So I had the speed rates modulated, and when I wanted it to come in, I kind of just tweaked it so it sounds like this. So a cutoff modulation, and I just adjusted the speed. The reason why it sounds like a spaceship kind of right here is just synth warmer. And the important thing is this cutoff right here is on 1000 Hertz. Drive and emphasis for distortion, wave shaper for distortion, compression, reverb, crystalline for more reverb, but with ducking, so it's not all the time. And then I get a bit sides. I don't like this frequency right here, and a bit less on the high end, which leaves space for the synth. And this is the breathing, you know. It's all just effects, to be honest. I mean, this is how it sounds with no effects. I mean, you can barely even hear it. I can make it louder. It's all just effects. Heavy distortion, synth warmer, and wave shaper, chorus, reverb, and then some shaper box, which is the most important part. Panning, and on the end, it's going crazy on the end. This is where it ducks. And I took my time with this one. I think I spent a lot of time on the sample. Yeah, 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's really just creating these ideas and making it come true, and really just be all about the creative process. Like I really like to make creative samples that are not generic and that requires a lot of processing. And with effects, distortion, reverb, and shimmer, reverb, shaper box. And this like siren you can hear at the background, this is just effects inside the Nova kits. Alright, so this was the video. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next in the next synth sample breakdown or synth sample episode. I've linked Fantasia in the description. Be sure to check it out. And yeah, see you in the next one.